Since the 12 Hours of Sebring is coming up on March 18th, I figured I'd give you a bunch of weird facts that you might not know. For those of you who are new to the 12 Hours of Sebring, welcome! You're going to learn some fun, weird things today. And for the veterans, hopefully you'll learn something a little new. The best part is that you do not actually have to sit and watch this video. You can just listen while you're doing your computer things like accounting or data entry. Either way, this long-standing track that's located in Central Florida, and you guessed it, Sebring, Florida, started its life as a US airbase and was converted into a track in 1950. In 1952, they hosted the first 12 Hours of Sebring, which was won by a Crosley, which, believe it or not, was borrowed by a spectator. The owner was named Victor Sharp and was driven by Fritz Koster, who's kinda looks like J.K. Simmons, and Ralph Deshawn. Yeah, motor racing was crazy back then. Your car breaks, just borrow one from the crowd. And these drivers were so great they even beat out Ferrari in a borrowed car. In 1952 and 53, they had police on patrol on horseback going around the field to contain the wild animals. Turns out boars and deers really liked wandering onto the track. In 1955, there were 6 reserve drivers. They were told because of qualifying they weren't allowed to start. So instead of taking no as an answer, they snuck onto the track, drove 2 laps, and then promptly left the track. You ever been so thirsty during a race and you just can't get that drink? Well, in 1957, Sterling Moss was that thirsty. He was so thirsty, in fact, that he slowed down during the race, took a Coca-Cola bottle from a spectator, drank it the entire lap, and threw it back at him on the following lap. So unfortunately, there was a lot of accidents back in the day because safety was unfortunately not a priority. In 1966, Bob McLean driving a Ford GT got into a fatal accident, and after that accident, that GT is now buried somewhere within Sebring. And no, they will not tell you where it is. Actors Gene Hackman, James Brolin, Lorenzo Lamas, Paul Newman, and Steve McQueen, all actors, drove in the 12 Hours of Sebring. If you want to know more about actors in racing, I do have a video, and that is going to be in the link below. Rounding out the 60s, in 1969, Roger Penske was driving his car home. Unfortunately, after he stopped from gas, his Lola was taken from the truck and they later found it, but not in all the pieces. In 1974, the race was canceled due to the energy crisis. However, that did not stop a bunch of fans from coming and just partying the entire weekend. Speaking of energy crisis, in 1983, they had to bring in a fuel truck because they ran out of all things, fuel. How do you run out of fuel at a racetrack? You ever see a sign that says something like no boogie boarding and you're like, why would they have a sign for no boogie boarding in the middle of a hotel lobby? Well, it's because of fans like this. In 2003, Patrick Taylor was such a fan he showed up 3 months early in December. Unfortunately, the organizers didn't like this too much and they decided to put a rule in place saying you couldn't start camping and showing up until March 1st. And those are my weird facts about the 12 Hours of Sebring. If you like that, please drop the clutch on the subscribe button and I will see you in the next video.